Throughout history, religion has played a significant role in shaping our societies as well as the way we behave within them. In it, we find the way one greets another, the way one walks up toward the heavens, the way one conducts sexual intercourse, and, strangely enough, the way one enters a bathroom and which hand one should use to wipe his butt. It's the left one, by the way. Religion has permeated all aspects of our lives, and although in modern societies and developed countries, people began to gradually let go of these confident religions, maybe because they were outdated, they saw the true nature of it, or it just became old-fashioned. In Arab societies, where Islam is the dominant and most practiced religion, it still plays the role it was supposed to play, to control. The guardians of religion are in collusion with the traders of it to keep the herd on the line. Salesmen use it to grant credibility to their products, and ordinary people use it as a facade in their daily life. Yet, there is no problem. For in order for that to happen, a great amount of ignorance and blind love for Islam must be required in society, and required it is. The thing to be witnessed in these manifestations is indeed the misuse of religion to achieve personal ambitions, money, and power. Politicians use it to reach a more comfortable seat than the one they had before. Preachers use it to make money, and monarchies use it to rule with sanctity. Yet, there is no problem, for one day the mist of ignorance will clear away and the schemers will be caught in the act. Then, as simple as it can be, the people will retaliate and throw them away. There will be no misuse of Islam anymore. This great religion will restore its true reputation, and the Quran, Sunnah, and Sharia will be the bedrock of our relations with each other, Muslims, and others from different beliefs. At least that is what all pious Muslims would want to achieve, an Islamic state. However, things are not as simple as they might appear. The following lines discuss verses that, if ever established, our very existence as a nation shaped by different ethnicities, religions, colors, and identities will be at stake. We often grew up with the unchecked given fact that Islam is a religion of peace and that it has come to set people free and that we are all alike in the eyes of God, believer, disbeliever, man or a woman. That, of course, is due to our ignorance and blind love for this mighty religion. Because when you take the Quran and read it instead of intonating it, that means tajweed or tartil, you might stumble upon verse 33 in Surah Al-Ma'idah. It says at the beginning of the verse, "For those who fight Allah and His Messenger." What if he was defending his land, tribe, family, his home, as it happened centuries ago when it was the beginning of the Islamic expansion, that if we did not call it an explosion? Do you expect that one should stand still when you wage war against one's home? Okay, fast forward to this century and say for the sake of argument that he was exercising his right of freedom of speech. He was criticizing, he was writing what he holds to be true, he was making a joke, or he was climbing a mountain. I mean, that's certainly not worth killing for, climbing a mountain or making a joke. The Quran continues in what seems to be the efficient way to treat the disbelievers and the polytheists, even if they are doing no harm to Muslims or Islam. For it says in Surah At-Tawbah verse 5, and in the same surah verse 29, and again in the same surah verse 73. What we are to gather from this is simply a violation of freedom of belief, if nothing else. To understand why we see such atrocities committed in the name of Islam, and why do an unarmed handful of people obey these commands to the letter, we only have to reflect upon Surah At-Tawbah verse 111. And for solace, we find in Surah Al-Imran verse 169,
لا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون.
In order for Allah to corroborate His commands, It seems that in Surah At-Tawbah verse 111, Allah has drawn the path or the life a Muslim should lead, the afterlife in exchange for this life. For Islam to prevail, blood must be shed. The Muslim must kill and be killed. Again, I wonder what happened to Surah Al-Ma'idah verse 32. I mean, whoever kills a soul, unless for soul or for corruption done in the land, it is as if he had slain mankind entirely. And whoever saves one, it is as if he had saved mankind entirely. The prevalent claim is that the Quran and Islam in general are victims of interpretations made by a minority of Muslims, that the latter possess dark and radical perspectives about the conduction of life and of the people around them, that the Quran is a mere instrument to justify their horrific deeds toward mankind. Since interpretations made by readers who react to a text in different ways depending on their experiences and social background, then each will react to it by implementing his or her own unique text-related performance. Thus, Islam has nothing to do with radicalism and the crimes committed in its name. I think what most moderate thinkers, apologists, and those who engage in conversations to clear Islam's smeared reputation is something that is known in the field of literary criticism as the reader response theory. That is, the reader is an active agent who imparts real existence to the work and completes its meaning through interpretation. But the Quran is no literary work. It is supposed to be Allah's words, and His words are not open to interpretation. For He says in Surah Taha verse 2, "We have not sent down to you the Quran that you be distressed." And in Surah An-Nahl verse 89, "We have sent down to you the book as clarification for all things." Allah's words are precise, clear and direct, descended to be understood and executed by all. At least that is the right of every Muslim to believe. There can be no room for interpretations, and there is no room for interpretations. The language of the verses presented in order to consolidate our point of view is clear and can be understood by the majority of those who can read. Furthermore, and consider this an open invitation to all who thinks that those verses are misunderstood or badly interpreted. Be my guest, twist the verse whatever way it suits you and see if you can come up with a positive interpretation through which we can blame only radical Muslims. Always bear in mind that we are dealing with religion. And as you might have known, it is one of the essentialist shapers of humans' behavior in society, especially the traditional ones such as ours. That is, a religious person relies on religion to help him/her conduct his/her life. He/she derives values and ideals from it. According to these verses and the other verses that the schemers emphasize on, the Quran can be used for various reasons and with different intentions. That is, verses that stir violence and justify killing the non-believers or believers of other confident religions in the name of Islam are scattered all over it. Whereas, and lucky for us, verses that encourage coexistence, love, and peace are plentiful. Having cleared that up, it is up to us to choose which verses to use. Let's not hide behind the fake pages of history. Let's admit that there's a problem. For the first step toward solving a problem is to admit that there's one in the first place. Hence, I think it is fair to acknowledge that Islam is a religion of peace, love, and coexistence, as much as it is a religion of marginalization, refusal, and neglectfulness of the other. There are two versions of Islam. There's black and there's white. There's the yin and the yang. As far as reflection led me to believe, to choose to live by both versions is the same as being Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader at the same time. It's something which I won't advise you to do, for it has detrimental effects on your psychological well-being. I know that light will overcome the darkness, but it's not going to happen until we address the matter properly, honestly, and objectively. Being brought up in a Muslim country, in the warmth of a pious Muslim family, I can objectively say that not all Muslims are violent by nature. The majority of Muslims in the world choose to adhere to the law, choose not to be violent, choose to accept the other, choose to coexist, and choose to be at peace. They denounce what is being done in the name of Islam, although it is Quranic dictations. They are conscious to the fact that those verses can and must not be applied, for they bring nothing but destruction. To those who admit that the Quran is not for all times, to this portion of Muslims, I would like to extend my deepest gratitude and praises. Thank you for trying to make it work. As for the other Muslims who are still entrapped by the mist of ignorance, to those who still believe in the sanctity of the preacher, the Imam, the guardians of religion, open your eyes, see, feel, question, read, and subscribe, goddammit. The world as we know it will not stay the same. Let us fight in the peaceful meaning of the word for the truth, for equality, for coexistence. And always keep in mind that change starts from within.